Good evening. Welcome to my channel. Today we're going to continue the studies of international logistics. My name is Felipe. I'd like to invite you to subscribe at the channel. If you enjoyed the video, give us a like. Don't forget, support this channel with donations. Start the notifications. Share this video with your friends. Follow me in Twitter, Facebook or Instagram. Thank you very much. Let us start. Add your commentary. Make your question. An agreement was finally reached and Pan Am and British Carrier were to each have two transatlantic flights per week. However, the British lacked suitable equipment and nothing happened. Pan Am began talking about flying to France instead, and the British decided to let Pan Am fly to Great Britain without reciprocal service by a British carrier. Although Pan Am no longer exists, one cannot say enough about its significant role in the economics and politics related to the development of international aviation. A.G. Davis, the Smithsonian's aviation curator, said that Pan Am's greatest influence may have been in the development of commercial aircraft, which has forced U.S. manufacturers to build, ranging from flying boats in the 1930s through the 747, by meeting Pan Am's visionary and exciting requirements. U.S. aircraft manufacturers turned out such superior planes that they dominated and continue to dominate the world's airline aircraft market. In Europe, each nation's airline developed at the modest scale, although most interest there was in the development of military aviation. Most European airlines were owned in total or in part by their governments. Service to colonies expanded, and subsidies were justified on the basis of European nations holding together their respective empires. Aeroflot was formed in 1932, and by 1935 the line had a trunk route which reached the Pacific. IATA membership climbed to 33 by 1939. During the 1930s, the British developed flying boats necessary to serve its empire. Pan Am used several types of US-built flying boats. Flying boats were about 25% less efficient than land-based aircraft because of weight and design of hull, which could float. However, they were needed because of the lack of airports. There were also German dirigibles with routes from Germany to North and South America. Commercial dirigible service ended with the Hindenburg disaster. World War II. World War II was very important to the continued development of aviation. Military training resulted in many trained pilots who had experience with night and poor flying conditions. The United States also developed a worldwide network of meteorological stations. Two technological developments were radar and jet aircraft, the later introduced by Germans. At the beginning of the war, Britain and the United States divided up war production. Britain built smaller fighter airplanes. The United States built planes of all sizes, including four-engine bombers and transport aircraft. Two large four-engine transport aircraft were introduced during the period: the Douglas DC-4 and Lockheed Constellation. They could carry 50 to 60 passengers at 20-50 miles per hour, and they required 6,000 feet runways. Eventually, their combines became pressurized. Some had sufficient range to fly over the oceans. At the war's end, land-based aircraft displaced flying boats. In part, this was because the U.S. military had built runaway airports through the world, needed to ferry land-based bombers and transport across both the Atlantic and the Pacific Ocean, and so on. During the war, U.S. airlines kept operating with a load factor of 90%. Seats were rationed by the war end. Almost no other nation had operation airlines. As the war ended, the United States had virtually the only operation airlines and the only airline aircraft production facilities. During the war, aviation had proved its value in many logistical operations of both short and long duration. An example of short-time assignment was the immediate resupply of troops after they landed on the Normandy beaches before Port-au-Prince would be reopened. A long-term supply commitment was flying supplies to China over the hub in Varna, keeping China alive. Its long struggle with the Japanese after the war. In the late 1940s, the Soviet Union blockaded the Allies' ground access to West Berlin, and the city was kept supplied with food and fuel by the Berlin Airlift. There were many surplus aircraft and trained pilots left at war ends. In the United States, several new categories of airlines came into being, including those that chartered their aircraft only, non-skids, and all cargo carriers. The best known of the later group was the Flying Tigers. By 1988, the Flying Tigers flew more than 10 miles of cargo than any airline in the world. More recently, it was taken over by Federal Express. After the war, virtually every nation developed its airline and used a US-built DC-3 for the job. In 1949, there were 1,600 DC-3s in airline service in free world. By 1950, US-built four-engine aircraft were used on major international routes. Other nations were unsuccessful in building competing aircraft. By 1950, 43% of the world's airline traffic was in the United States, and Pan Am was the world's dominant international carrier. Commercial jets. In 1953, the British introduced the turboprop Vickers Viscount, which was moderately successful. About the same time, they also introduced the Havilland Comet, a jet was commercially unsuccessful, in part because of a spot safety record. An interesting feature of European progress, despite the independence of US equipment of most of the airlines most of the time, has been the lead which the continent has been able to give introduction of entirely new types of equipment. Thus the world's first turboprop network established in Europe, with the Viscount from 1953, the first long-haul jet network, the Comet 1952, and the first short-haul network with the Cavalry from 1959. If you like the video, give us a like, share this video with a friend. Don't forget, subscribe at this channel. Thank you very much.